Okay, so this is not a Trump video. If you're looking for a Trump video, swipe left now. You're not going to find that here. If you're not familiar with my content, most of what I do is Trump videos. Occasionally, I veer into other stuff, like today, where I'm going to be talking about the Philippines. Okay, everybody's had a chance to swipe left if they were looking for Trump and came here. Okay, so I want to talk about Manila versus Cebu for people who are considering a trip to the Philippines and are probably trying to figure out which area they want to visit. If you've never been, you're probably focusing on Manila and Cebu. There are plenty of other provinces in the Philippines that are great to visit. I plan to visit a lot more than I have. But I have been to Cebu, and this year I finally got to Manila, so I've got some perspective. Now, I'll say up front, I'm not going to tell you which one to go to. I'm going to talk to you about the differences that I saw in Manila and Cebu, and you can use that to decide which one seems right for you. Now, first, I'll talk about Cebu because the last 2 years I went to Cebu. Love Cebu. Honestly, I love Manila, love the whole Philippines. But they've got different feels. Now, Cebu is actually bigger from a landmass standpoint than Manila. I didn't know that, but I was looking it up. That was an interesting find. However, despite that size, Cebu is not as heavily populated. And when I was there, I found Cebu to be a lot more centralized. Most of the activity in Cebu is happening kind of around Ayala Mall, IT Park, those areas, which has its pros and cons. The biggest pro is if it's your first time in the Philippines, you go to Cebu, it's easy to get around, it's easy to find things. There's like the spot to go to at night to people watch. There's like the spot to go to during the day to people watch. Sure, you can hit lots of other areas, but there's generally one place. Like during the day, if I'm in Cebu on a Wednesday, I'm probably going to go to the Ayala Terraces and hang out in the food court area, or maybe kind of walk through the mall. I'm going to see a lot of people there. It's going to be fairly concentrated. It's kind of easy to do. At nights, on the nights, I'm going to go to Sugbo Mercado, which is kind of this outdoor food court with live music, because I know that's going to be heavily congested. Plenty of other things to do, but I'm pretty much guaranteed to find a crowd of people, good people watching. And if you're going there because you're looking for a relationship, yeah, there are going to be plenty of young women to find in those areas. You just need to start a conversation, be comfortable enough to say hi or, hey, where's the coffee shop? Something basic. It's really not that hard. So Cebu, simple, doesn't feel big, and there's a lot of stuff that you can go do kind of on day trips from Cebu. You can go down to Oslo. You can whale shark dive. You can go to the Kawasan Falls and check out the waterfalls. You can do a lot of things fairly easily using Cebu as a hub. Actually had a viewer who visited Cebu. It was a really fun conversation because he was apparently about to land in Cebu in a couple of days, and he was asking me questions about like Grab versus taxi, which I told him Grab. He stayed at one of the hotels that I've stayed in before. He actually gave it a solid thumbs up after he'd been there. Described it as a great hotel for someone who's on a budget and basically has never really been there before and just wants a good, easy place to start their trip from. Okay, so Cebu, concentrated, easy to get around. That's basically your idea behind Cebu. If that's kind of your speed, all right, Cebu's probably going to be, top notch. Now, Manila is a very different feel than Cebu. Manila's not as big from a landmass standpoint, but Manila actually feels more spread out. I took grabs going from place to place in Manila far more than I did in Cebu. And in Manila, I had to do more searching to really find the spots that I liked. because everywhere I went, sure, there were people, but it never really felt congested, and I wanted things to feel congested. I stayed in two different areas of Manila, and the regions of Manila become more important. I didn't really think about that in Cebu. But I stayed in this area called Malate, which is basically the red light district. I didn't know that before I got there. And then I was in Taguig, which is next to this kind of high end part of Manila known as BGC, Bonifacio Global City. Manila, you're traveling around. It really feels like a major metropolitan city when you're in Manila, far more than Cebu ever did. Um, there's the Mall of Asia there, biggest mall in the world. Traveling around the outside of it, again, doesn't feel that congested. Go to the food court, okay, there's a lot of traffic there. But I visited kind of the Mall of Asia. I visited a lot of things in Manila, and nothing ever really felt congested. Contrasting Cebu and Manila, I would say, Cebu, there's like a place to go for everything. Manila, it felt like there are 5 places to go for everything. So you're always trying to figure out kind of where do I want to go? What do I want to do? When I was in Manila and I would ask somebody, like, where are the popular bars this time of year? They didn't start off by pointing to different bars. They started off by pointing to different districts. They're like, well, have you been to Makati? Like, oh shoot, we're talking about a whole different region of Manila. So there's a lot more traveling you have to do. It's not like in Cebu where somebody might just say, oh, kind of go down the street, take a left, walk a couple of blocks, you'll see it, you'll be fine. So very different feel to that. And I mean, veering into a conversation about the types of women you'll meet, because I'm assuming most of the people watching my content are guys who are going there because, they're looking for wives or serious relationships. Cebu's women in the Philippines generally more traditional in their approach than women in the West. Just baseline, women in the Philippines way more traditional. Women in Cebu felt more traditional to me than women in Manila. First time I went to Cebu, I was going there to meet a woman I'd been talking to online. Very traditional. She was a great woman. We wanted different things. She wanted someone who was going to live in Manila. I wanted someone who was going to live in the States. Didn't work out. Second time I went to Cebu, my head wasn't in the right place because I realized, wow, I'm a big ticket item over here. Basically, I'm a rich Westerner. That's appealing. Lots of women will be interested in you because you're a rich Westerner. Sure, some of them are predators looking to empty your pockets, but there are a lot of very good women who are interested in you. I mean, don't let the fact that you're successful hold you back. That's attractive to lots of women. And there were lots of great women in Cebu who I met. But the second time I went to Cebu, I knew that I had tons and tons of options. And so I was so picky that I just couldn't find what I wanted. I was needing to kind of take a step back and really think about what I was trying to do. But I was just, kid in a candy store. I want to sample this. I want to sample that. I couldn't make a choice. It was just not ready. Manila, very different. Manila feels more modern than Cebu. For perspective, I met a woman in Manila. Her name was Kate. Kate is gorgeous. What was Kate? Kate was like 22, tan skin. She was just a stunner. Had hair all the way down to her butt. She didn't think she looked that good because, she's got dark skin, long hair. She thinks she's just regular. To me, I was like, man, this woman is smoking hot. But Kate, 22-year-old Kate, was telling me she doesn't want a serious relationship right now. She wants to be young and have fun. She doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to have kids. And she said she might not think about that until she's 30. Now, in the Philippines, that's a very weird thing for me to hear women say. That's just not normally what I hear. That's not really what I see culturally there. But in Manila, I met more women like that who were kind of celebrating being young and having fun. Kate was attracted to me because I'm a rich Westerner who's only in town for 2 weeks. So Sure, that's vacation mode. She likes that kind of a thing, no commitment. Um, don't get me wrong, like, you know, there are beautiful women in Manila, there are beautiful women in Cebu. If you know what you want, you can probably find it there. But yeah, the feels are different. So, all of that said, when you're thinking about Cebu, when you're thinking about Manila, I hope that paints a good picture of kind of what it feels like to be in one area versus the other. Maybe you want that smaller town, um, more accommodating feel. You don't really have to travel around to figure things out. Maybe you want to be in a major metropolitan area where it feels like you're in a big city in the Philippines. Um, that's kind of the difference. And, if that doesn't help, you got more questions about things more specifically, just drop a comment. Happy to have that conversation and hope this helps.